There's a weird car on the road right now that most people can't even name, but it might be one of the smartest vehicles Toyota has ever made. It's sleek, it's packed with Lexus-level features, and yet it's wearing a Toyota badge. Yep, we're talking about the 2026 Toyota Crown, a name that almost no one in the US recognizes, despite the fact that it's one of the longest-running nameplates in Japan. But here's the kicker. Toyota just gave it a complete overhaul, and now it's looking more like a luxury assassin than a quirky sedan SUV hybrid. It's bold, it's refined, and, believe it or not, it's cheaper than a Lexus ES, while offering many of the same features under the hood and inside the cabin. So, what's really going on here? Why is Toyota quietly building a Lexus competitor under its own name? And more importantly, is the 2026 Crown actually worth your attention? Or is it just another forgettable experiment? Let's pull back the curtain on one of the most slept-on luxury moves of the year. If you've never heard of the Toyota Crown, you're not alone. And honestly, that's kind of the point. In Japan, the Crown has been around for over 70 years. It's a big deal over there, used by government officials, CEOs, even royalty. But in the US? Total ghost. Most people didn't even know it existed until Toyota awkwardly dropped it into the lineup back in 2023. And even then, it didn't exactly make a splash. Part of the problem was the styling. Toyota took a risk, giving it this lifted sedan look, like a crossover and a fastback had a baby, and people weren't sure what to make of it. Was it a luxury car? A weird Camry on stilts? A poor man's Audi A7? Nobody knew. And that confusion killed a lot of the hype before it even had a chance to build. It also didn't help that it was sandwiched between two massive names, the reliable Camry on one side and the prestige of Lexus on the other. The Crown didn't seem to know where it fit in, and neither did anyone else. But that's where the 2026 model gets interesting. Toyota finally seems to know what the Crown is supposed to be. Not just a rebadged experiment or some Frankenstein mashup, but a legitimate, quiet competitor to Lexus. And this time, it's gunning for the luxury crowd with confidence, not confusion. Now here's where the story takes a sharp turn, literally. The 2026 Toyota Crown doesn't just get a facelift, it gets a full-blown identity transplant. Gone is that strange, lifted sedan look. In its place, a sleek, coupe-like fastback design that finally gives the Crown some visual clarity. It's lower, wider, and way more confident. This thing actually looks like it belongs in the same room as a BMW 5 Series or an Audi A6. Step inside, and the transformation gets even more impressive. You're greeted with a cabin that feels high-end without trying too hard. Soft leather, subtle ambient lighting, brushed metal trim, and a panoramic roof that makes the space feel even more open. The dashboard is clean and modern, dominated by dual 12.3-inch screens that handle your gauge cluster and infotainment without any lag or clutter. What's wild is that none of this feels like a typical Toyota. The steering wheel feels solid and substantial. The seats? Supportive but plush. Even the stitching feels deliberate, not just thrown in to look premium. It's like Toyota took a long, hard look at Lexus and said, "Okay, now let's build something just as good, but for less." And to top it off, the drive experience isn't phoning it in either. The suspension is tuned for a smoother, more responsive feel, and AWD is standard on most trims. In short, the Crown isn't just trying to look the part, it's actually playing it. And for buyers who want the refinement of a luxury car without the typical badge snobbery, this is where the Crown starts to shine. Here's where things really start to get interesting. The price tag. The 2026 Toyota Crown is expected to start at just under $43,000. That's not exactly cheap, but when you line it up next to a Lexus ES, which starts around $46,000 and easily pushes well into the 50s with options, the Crown suddenly looks like a steal. And here's the kicker. The Crown shares the same TNGA-K platform as the ES. That's the same chassis, same general layout, same hybrid powertrains, just repackaged under a different name. You're getting a car that performs like a Lexus, feels like a Lexus inside, and even uses some of the same tech, but without paying that Lexus premium. Even the high-end trims, like the Platinum version with the hybrid Max system, are still priced comfortably below a similarly equipped Lexus. And we're talking about a trim that gives you real performance. More on that in a minute. Plus luxury features like ventilated leather seats, JBL premium audio, digital key access, and even a 360-degree camera. When you stack it up spec for spec, the Crown starts to feel like that one friend who shows up to a fancy party wearing thrifted designer clothes, and somehow still looks better than everyone else. It's not just about being more affordable, it's about being smart with your money. You get the quality and comfort without paying the brand tax. Alright, now let's talk about what's under the hood. Because this isn't just some dressed-up commuter car. The top-tier 2026 Toyota Crown comes equipped with Toyota's Hybrid Max system. And if that name sounds familiar, it's because it's the same setup you'll find in the Lexus RX 500 HFS PORT, which is already known for surprising people with its punch. So, what does that actually mean? You're looking at a 2.4-liter turbocharged engine paired with electric motors that combine for up to 340 horsepower and standard all-wheel drive. This isn't your average fuel sipper. It's quick off the line, smooth in the mid-range, and keeps pulling confidently when you need to pass on the highway. Think of it as a hidden performance badge that doesn't need to show off. And the best part? It still sips gas like a Toyota should. You're getting around 30 miles per gallon, depending on how you drive, which is wild for something this powerful and this roomy. It's the kind of powertrain that makes you double-take, because it's not loud, it's not flashy, but it delivers exactly when you want it to. Driving the Crown with the Hybrid Max feels like that moment you realize the quiet kid in class is secretly a genius. It's understated, sure, but it's always one step ahead, and it leaves you wondering how something this capable hasn't already become the talk of the town. Okay, performance is great, but let's be honest. Most people buying a car in this segment care just as much, if not more, about how it feels day to day. And that's where the 2026 Crown really starts separating itself from the pack. Because once you're inside, it doesn't feel like a compromise. It feels like a luxury car, just without the premium badge. First off, the noise isolation is shockingly good. You can be cruising at 70 on the highway and still have a full conversation without raising your voice. Toyota's worked in extra sound deadening and double-paned glass, and you feel that the second the door is shut. It's that satisfying, airtight thud that usually only comes from higher-end models. The seating? Heated and ventilated front seats come standard on most trims, and they're actually supportive, not those flat, lifeless chairs you sometimes find in mid-size sedans. The leather feels upscale, the stitching is clean, and even the backseat passengers aren't left out. There's plenty of legroom and available heated rear seats too. Then there's the tech. You get a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster and a matching 12.3-inch center touchscreen, both of which are crisp, responsive, and refreshingly easy to use. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto? Standard. Wireless charging pad? Yep. Toyota even added a new AI voice assistant that feels like a real step forward. No more screaming, "Turn up the AC 3 times" just to get a response. It's not flawless, but it's way more intuitive than what most rivals are offering. Everything inside feels like it was designed to make your life easier without overcomplicating anything. It's premium in all the right places and practical where it matters most. Which, let's be real, is a combo most luxury brands still haven't mastered. Now look, let's not pretend the Crown is perfect. If you're wondering whether it beats Lexus at its own game, the answer is not entirely. There are still a few areas where Lexus clearly holds the upper hand. For starters, the dealership and ownership experience. Lexus gives you that elevated service vibe, free maintenance perks, smoother customer support, and, let's be honest, pulling into a valet with an L on your grille still carries more weight than a Toyota badge. That brand prestige matters to some people, and the Crown can't replicate that no matter how nice it is inside. Then there's the fit and finish. Don't get it twisted. The Crown feels premium. But Lexus? It feels engineered. Everything is tighter, more deliberate. From the door handles to the tactile feedback on the infotainment knob, yes, Lexus still loves knobs, you just feel that extra 5% of polish. But here's the plot twist. In the places that actually matter to most drivers, comfort, tech, power, efficiency, and space, the Crown either matches or comes eerily close to its Lexus counterpart. And when you factor in that it's thousands of dollars cheaper, with lower insurance costs and likely better long-term reliability, it becomes hard to justify the Lexus markup unless you're really attached to the badge. This car isn't trying to replace Lexus. It's doing something sneakier. It's offering 90% of the experience for a fraction of the cost. And for buyers who don't care about logo loyalty, that's a game changer. So, who's the 2026 Toyota Crown really for? Because it's not your average Toyota buyer, and it's definitely not chasing the flashy luxury crowd either. This car is built for people who care about substance over status. The ones who want the smooth ride, the plush interior, the strong performance, but don't need to flex about it. It's perfect if you've been eyeing a Lexus ES or even a mid-tier Audi or Acura, but you can't justify the markup just to have a shinier badge. It's also ideal if you're stepping up from something like a Camry or an Accord and want a taste of luxury without dealing with turbo lag, run-flat tires, or questionable reliability. Basically, if you want the best parts of a luxury car, comfort, style, peace, and quiet, without the stuffy dealer experience or expensive upkeep, the Crown's got your name written all over it. It's also a strong option for people who hate SUVs but still want something practical. The Crown gives you that confident AWD grip, roomy cabin, and higher ride height without shoving you into another oversized crossover. It's like Toyota built this thing for the grown-up who's tired of chasing trends and just wants a car that feels good to own, drive, and live with every single day. Bottom line? The 2026 Crown is for people who've outgrown the badge game, but still want something that turns heads, even if half the people looking don't know what it is. At the end of the day, the 2026 Toyota Crown doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't need to. Because while everyone's busy chasing luxury brands and paying extra for the emblem, the Crown is quietly doing 90% of what they do, just more efficiently, more affordably, and, honestly, more smartly. It's the kind of car that makes you pause and say, wait, why doesn't everyone know about this? And maybe that's part of the appeal. It's exclusive, but not in the gated community, VIP-only kind of way. It's exclusive because most people just haven't caught on yet. So if you're someone who wants the comfort, the performance, the presence, but you're overpaying for brand hype, the Crown might be your perfect fit. Not because it's trying to be something it's not, but because it's finally owning what it is, a low-key luxury killer hiding in plain sight.